Top commenter of the day goes to Nicole. And that's mainly because she was right when she said Becky was going to win the NXT Women's Championship. Young Boy Jay is here. Kayla's here. Sasha, Donnie, Nika, and Aaliyah. And of course, Rico. All right. I'm going to make this short and sweet. I'm not going to be on here long. The show kicked off with this match. This was the best match of the night next to Tiffany and Becky's match. They put on a banger, and if this looks like this is Wesley's last match at NXT, it was a solid match for Wes. He looked great. Um he held Ilya to a standard that I've never seen. Between him and Carmelo, they've given him the biggest run for their money, his money in that company, and then Trick Williams would be a close third. They performed. He performed in this match, and it was just stellar. I know that it was a little bit of a letdown that he lost. It was kind of alluded to that he would lose, but I never thought in a million years that we would see this man cleaning out his locker. It was a bit heavy to look at, but hopefully Wesley will pop up somewhere on the main roster, and he'll get a better shake. I mean, he'll get a good shake on the main roster somewhere, and he'll be able to perform effectively. Um, but he said he was done in NXT, and that's it, and that's that. But they put on a banger of a match. It's an instant classic. Definitely like a 10 out of 10. If you haven't watched it, I would highly recommend that you do watch it because it is well worth the watch. Moving into the Global Invitational, let's start there. Axiom and Tyler Bate had a banger of a match as well. This put Tyler on the board with 2 points. Axiom is dropped down because he's lost, and he obviously didn't gain any points. So they do have the standings for the Global Invitational, but I didn't get to look at it before I came in here, so my apologies. It is what it is, unfortunately. But Tyler Bate now will face off against Butch, his former friend, rival, whatever the case may be. They're going to face off against each other at the next Global Invitational, which I believe is next week. Um, and then you'll have Duke Hudson going up against Joe Coffey next week.
Mm-hmm.
Duke Hudson is going to compete against Joe Coffey, and they will see who is going to win, because if Duke Hudson wins, then it's a three-way tie leading into the finals, I believe. So we'll have to wait and see how this will all play out. But for right now, Axiom suffered a loss to Tyler Bate. The next one of the Global Invitational is Nathan Frazier gaining a pinfall over Akira Tozawa. As far as I'm concerned, Akira is completely out of this tournament. He's pretty much fallen to each and every one of um, the people in his group. He's fallen to every single one of them. So I don't see Akira actually gaining any traction. He put on a really good match with Tyler Bate today, but not good enough for him to beat him. Ultimately, Akira lost, and Nathan Frazier was able to pick up the win. So now, this six-man tag team match between Briggs, Jensen, Miles Bourne, and Dempsey, Gulak, and Damon Kemp was a bit wonky and weird for me. Towards the end, Miles had a pretty good showing. He did pretty well in that match. Had a nice little neck breaker, the whole nine. He did good until it got to the end, where Miles somehow decided to turn on Jensen and Briggs and Jensen, and then helped Gulak and them get the win over them after saving Fallon from getting attacked. I don't know what's going on here, but I do know that he helped the other team get the win, and this gave him, a big boost in those guys' eyes, or whatever the case may be. So yeah, the Creed brothers went up against Malik and Idris. They had a Spitfire match right out the start. Malik and Idris targeted Julius, got rid of Brutus from the beginning. They were working in tandem, and it almost worked out in their favor, but ultimately, Brutus and Julius was able to overcome Malik and Idris, which is usually normal fare. That's usually how it works either way. I've yet to see um, Malik and Idris win a match where they weren't toppled. Like they're usually the ones putting someone over or giving somebody a win. Like that usually happens, so I wasn't surprised. Also, there was another women's match tonight. Dana Brooke went up against Lyra Valkyria. Lyra beat Dana, and at the end, Dana obviously couldn't, contain her anger of losing and tried to attack Lyra, but Kalani pulled her out of the way. So there's that. There were a few backstage moments that happened. Mustafa was talking to Mackenzie, basically going over his win over Dragon Lee. And he, you know, played very much into that politician sound and look. He was smiling at the camera before the camera even cut on. Yeah, Mustafa has a way of relaying his character, and it works for right now. Um, Dragon Lee came up to him and was like, listen, what he did was egregious. Like, can you do something about that? And he was just like, ooh, I don't know. I really don't know if I should or could do anything about it. Given that very icky politician y answer, but it seems that the rules are set and the game is on. Dragon Lee is out and Mustafa is in. He will be taking on Dominic Mysterio for the North American Championship. And I believe that they should give that title to him at No Mercy. And then they can move into a space where Mustafa is the slimy heel. At least he's a permanent slimy heel in NXT. And they're going to continue down this route with Mustafa Ali as the North American champion. Oh, bless you, AJ.
Thank you.
I definitely said you were right that Becky was going to win the title and that Tiffany Stratton was going to lose. I definitely said that. All right. So we're going to move into the last match of the night. It was Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch. And the girls put on a very good match. It was a good closer. I won't say that this match was better than Wesley and Ilia's, but it was a good match. There were some pieces of this match that were a little wonky, some little missteps, but it was just little stuff that if you weren't paying attention to, then you wouldn't have seen it. So, I'm saying? It's not like it was a horrible match. It was a good match. They just had a few little kinks, few little missteps, but the overall the show itself, the match itself was very very good. Going into Tiffany losing, I knew she would lose. I just did not think that they would give it the belt to Becky right now. Nicole did call that last week when we were on live. She did say that she felt that Tiffany was going to drop that title to Becky, and then Becky's going to drop it to somebody else a month or two after she gets it. She's going to drop it to somebody else, which she was right. So I have no problems admitting when I'm wrong. I usually do. So Tiffany Stratton is titleless. Can't be the greatest NXT Women's Champion of all time when you've only had it for a few months, and even you then, you've only defended it maybe 3, 4 times, if that. I will say that she was a good heel champion. I'll say that, and most of Tiffany's matches were very solid, depending on who she was going up against. That match against Kiana last week was a very good match, and that was more receiving more on the front of that she and her opponent were very equal in that match. Um, so it was a good show overall. I'm glad that Becky was able to get that title, and I know that that title for Becky probably means a lot more to her than any other belt that she's ever won. And that's probably because when she was in NXT, she almost got fired. They didn't believe that Becky had the chops to do what she's capable of doing and what she has done. And now that she's come back and won that championship, everything for Becky has probably come full circle. So I'm just happy overall. It was a decent show on NXT. I have to say it was much better than Raw. If we're being fair, I enjoyed NXT more than I enjoyed Raw. Only got a few more minutes on here. I generally don't feel good. I need an explanation because NXT got me messed up. Okay. Um. Oh, okay. Let me make something clear. Y'all can curse for now. You can pretty much say whatever you want for now. They will not monetize my channel until I hit 1,000 subscribers, and that's when the videos will be able to make money. So for now, y'all are good. I'm at 676 subscribers. So until I get up to 1,000, there will be no ad placement on my videos. I double checked this morning. So y'all are fine. You can say what you want. Why did Wesley leave? Um, Basically, Wesley was on a quest of his own that he set by his own volition, and he basically was like, if I don't make it to Bakersfield, California, then I'm out. I'm done. So he's leaving. I think that Wes will still be in the company. He'll just pop up on Raw. I'd put him on Raw personally. Um, because he's not gonna get anywhere on SmackDown at the moment. Although he would make a good United States champion on SmackDown, and I feel like Wes being that type of workhorse character that he has, Wes could probably bring that United States championship back up to prestigiousness. You know what I mean? But you know, if Chad gains that Intercontinental Championship, I would love to see Chad, Wesley, um, who else is over there on Raw? Chad, Wesley, mid cards. You can have throw Riddle in there when he gets done with his BS. You got Xavier, um, Kofi, Ricochet. Um, I can't think of nobody else. Somebody else think of some other people that could possibly compete against Chad for that Intercontinental Championship. You got a pretty big pool of mid card to main event people that could compete for that Intercontinental Championship. And I thought they liked Tiffany as champ. I don't think it really have anything to do with Tiffany as champion. I think that one, this was a way to boost ratings on NXT. Number two, it was a way to give Becky a title reign, whether it be short or long. And then number three, they're gonna run that back. They're gonna compete again at No Mercy more than likely. And that's where she'll probably gain it back to Nicole's credit. I know she's taking a page from Rhea's playbook. Santos is on SmackDown, so he would be competing for the U.S. title. Everybody that I named is on Raw. It's okay. So NXT was pretty short and sweet. There wasn't a lot going on. There were some backstage segments, and there was an unnecessary segment Um, to make it simple, Baron Corbin came out there to make it seem like he was all heartbroken over Von Wagner getting his head bashed in by Brian Breaker, and Brian Breaker came in the ring and was just like, "You're an idiot. I don't care about you. I don't care about how you feel." It was a really shitty point in the show that I feel like just didn't need. It didn't need that. Like that could have been done backstage. You know what I'm saying? Like they gave Baron Corbin time to go out there and talk shit, and to be honest, it was unnecessary. I hate Baron Corbin for the very reasons that most people hate Baron Corbin, and it's that he lacks the the je ne sais quoi to really work as a heel, and he doesn't have enough likability to work as a face. So he's in this limbo of mediocrity, and he just like, how can you command respect when you haven't really done anything to be respected? While you've been a champion of some kind, at some point you never had the big kahuna, and when you got the opportunity to possibly gain said championship, you lost it. So let's just call a spade a spade. You are a mid carder at best, and you're not a good one. You're not fun to watch. You are a nuisance. And oftentimes, that's the MO that you're giving, is you're a nuisance. Everybody has to work to impress you for what? What have you done that makes me have to work to impress you? So in my eyes, I'm on Brian Breaker's side here. I don't give a fuck about what you're talking about, bro. I don't care about any of that shit. You can say whatever the fuck you want to say, do whatever you want to do, but mind my business is gonna get you hurt. Period. Now, instead of them going in there and like slap fighting each other and punching, they start slap fighting each other in the middle of the fucking ring. And I'm like, Sean, I usually be on your side. But your bald headed cockeyed ass got me fucked up if you think I'm gonna sit here and watch these two grown ass men slap box each other for nothing. Now we got to be suffering through a fucking match between these two at No Mercy. And I would rather pull my hair out. I am so serious right now. I'm not watching that match. I'm going to put it on mute, and I'm just going to sit here and try to, get some work done while that show's on. I fucking refuse to watch that match because you have got to be kidding me. Like, are you serious right now? No. That was the only stain on this show, was that bullshit right there. Because then y'all had all this security come out there for what? They weren't even really fighting. One of them slapped the other, and the other one slapped him back, and then they started slapping each other. Two grown ass men. And Brian Breaker, let me tell you something else. If your lily white ass goes back there and put some more of that bronzer on like that again, I will. Never mind. I'm just gonna say you border in the line of blackface, is all I'm telling you, because your ass is real golden brown, sir. Every time I see you, you get darker and darker. What the fuck is going on around here? If you're gonna tan, be my guest. But I mean, you put the tanner on your hands, it's embedded in your nails, it's everywhere. It's everywhere at this point. It's just irritating because you don't have to do all of that. My God. Just be milky white like Corbin. Like, Jesus. I need to get back to watching because I don't know where anyone's at. Yes, I did. Chad could go against Miz. That would be fun. I'd rather not. But he's there, so yeah. He pulling that Eva Marie. It's under his nails. Now, the backstage segments for the show were pretty simplistic. They went like this. They had a watch party for the Global Heritage Invitational. Butch was back there. And like I said earlier, Butch basically was like, we have been back and forth as friends and foes for years. When he was 15 years old, I was his first opponent then. We tried out for WWE together. I was his first opponent in the tournament for the UK United Kingdom Championship. And he said he knows me more than better than anybody. That I'm not going to take it easy on him or go lightly. And this is going to be the fight of his life. He said all he needs to know is this is fight night. So that match is definitely something that I want to see. Okay. Because I wasn't watching NXT UK at all. And I remember Nicole talking about this heavily. She was a big, big, big lover of NXT UK. So I finally get to see what she saw because I didn't watch it. So, um, then you had the situation between Dom and Carmelo Hayes. Now, Carmelo, here's the thing about Dom, and I'm just gonna keep it so real when it comes to Dominic Mysterio. Does he not wash his hands? I don't know if the man washes his hands, but I'm telling you that Tanner was embedded in his fingernails. His fingers, his hands, everything was the same color, and that's not realistic. When you look at your hands normally, while you might be pale or dark skin, light skin, or whatever, your nail beds are a totally different color from your actual hands and body. If you tan, your nail beds don't tan. It just looked like he took a bottle of iodine and rubbed it all over his hands and his body, and it's weird. Okay, so Carmelo ran into Dirty Dom in the back, and like I said before, the situation with Dom is like this. Dom talks very robotic. It's very slow and poignant, and I don't like it because it makes me feel like he's working too hard to get his point over. I don't like the way he speaks, which is oftentimes that is the reason why I will turn it off. I don't like listening to that man talk. He reminds me of Liv Morgan a lot when he speaks. They both speak in this robotic tone, like I'm going to da. His is more like, you know, you can't beat me. It's just so annoying. Just talk regular. Just say it. Why do you have to do that? It makes me, it's such a ick. It makes me want to claw my ears. Jesus. You just be like, dude, just say what the fuck you gotta say. Essentially, what Carmelo Hayes said to Dom was real. He was like, you know, Dragon Lee can beat you, so you made sure to give Mustafa the win because you got an ace in the hole against Mustafa and be able to beat him at no mercy. And then Dom was trying to dig at him about how he wanted, you know, he was like, good luck with that. You're gonna take on Ilya, and he's gonna take your title from you. He was like, unlike you, I have a win against Ilya in the column. But he was like, you know what? Since you got all this mouth dirty, Dom, let's see you putting your mouth money where your mouth is. Next week it's me and you, and we can talk about it. He was like, let's go about it. And he was like, okay, I'll talk to mommy about it. He was like, yeah, you talk to your mommy. I was like, I don't fucking blame you. Like, you gotta go ask her whatever you can do. Do you ask her to piss and shit too? Little bitch. All right. Now dragging off this one, not dragging off, but Dijak. This one told the line for me a little bit. Now, Eddie Thorpe has a sacred land that he's been going to when he needs to clear his head and get himself together. He talks to his spirits and ancestors and gets himself together, does his dance, performs whatever the case may be, and then he goes and does what he needs to do. Well, Dijak found his sacred land and decided to desecrate it by taking a belt and like whipping a tree. Listen, this is TV. It's symbolic. Understood. I'm gonna be honest, I still didn't like it. Some about it just don't feel right. There is a colonizer standing in a makeshift sacred land whipping a tree with a belt. I don't care how you slice it or whatever way you look at it. I just didn't like it. It didn't feel right. It didn't smell right. So I wasn't okay with it. They went on ahead and did the segment. Nobody said nothing. But for me personally, I don't like it. It don't feel right and it ain't right. You feel me? But y'all do what y'all want to do with that. Me personally, I'm gonna stay over here in the corner. That's what I'm gonna do. Cause I don't like it. It's not something that I enjoy. Let's put it that way. Now, after that, well, before that, Thea Hale was sitting with JC and it looked like they were supposed to be out chilling. Duke Hudson was supposed to be able to find Thea Hale, but she turned off her location, so Duke Hudson couldn't find her no more. And of course, Andre Chase was looking for her because she hasn't been showing up to class. She has a rebellious stage or whatever. And she's very upset, still upset about losing because of Andre Chase. And of course, Andre Chase costing her other matches as well. With all that being said, they was chilling. Some dudes came over there to make fun of her, and they beat the crap out of the dudes. And then she told JC, like, I can't walk around here in these clothes like this. I need a makeover. I don't know what JC gonna do besides give her black hair, black lipstick, and put muddy ass contour on her. Um, sure, whatever makes her happy. And that was pretty much it. That was NXT in a nutshell. It was a pretty good show. Like I said, I preferred NXT to Monday Night Raw. There were a few things that were floating around the internet. I'll talk about tomorrow. Excuse me when I go live. Um, I'm gonna go ahead and go. Y'all have a good night. One thing I do want y'all to remember is Noam Dar and the metaphor are funny. Noam Dar was dressed like he was on a safari, and the rest of them follow suit. Lash had on the guide outfit, and it was cute. They all was cute. And Jakara was a little cheetah, a little leopard cheetah print. They was going out. They went all out for that, and I thought that was so cute. But anyways, y'all have a good night. I gotta go. I don't want to be up on the live all night today. I don't feel good. I will talk to y'all tomorrow.